After traveling to all of these cities, here are my reviews on which are the best and which one I think you can skip. For those of you who don't know me, my name's ryanfila. I'm in the travel content space. I lived in Colombia for about 3 months, and this isn't gonna be a video where I tell you these are the best cities in the country. This is gonna be a video where I give you my reflections on what I thought of each of these cities, what I liked, what I didn't like, and like I said, a city I think you can skip. One of my favorite cities in Colombia, hands down, is Medellin. It's the digital nomadic capital of Colombia. There are a lot of digital nomads there. It's very tourist friendly. One of my favorite things about this city is the history and culture behind it that's also so recent. The whole drug reign in this country, a lot of it fed through Medellin, and you can learn a lot about the actual history of it here. For example, in Comuna 13, Comuna 13, they had 4 illegal groups fighting for leadership of this place less than 30 years ago, and they've transformed that entire community into one of the coolest places that you can visit while you're there, in my opinion. A couple other pros to Medellin is the climate is gorgeous. It's not too hot, but it's not too cold. The nightlife is really good there, and it's a big city, but it's not super big like Bogota. Now, the one main con of Medellin is there's no beach nearby, so you have to go to the coast for that. The second city on my list is Cali. Cali is one of the other major metropolitan areas in Colombia. Now, Cali is all about dancing and about salsa. And if you get out there around the Christmas time, they have an event called La Feria, which is like a several day event. It's almost like Carnival in Brazil, but a little bit, I shouldn't say a little, it's a lot smaller. The city's not nearly as big as Rio, but it's a smaller version of that that's formed around culture and music, and there's so much salsa dancing in the streets throughout every single night of La Feria. It's just a huge party. Now, if you're going to Cali, I would say the main reason to go there is the dance, because that is like the salsa capital of South America and Colombia in specific. The con to this place would be if you're not really interested in the dance or that side of Colombia, I wouldn't put it atop your list, to be honest. To me, outside of the dance, it felt like another metropolitan city. Number 3 on this list is Bogota. I thought Bogota was really underrated. I enjoyed my time there. It's a huge city. It's one of the top 5 biggest cities in South America, so you have everything there. One of my favorite things to do there was play tejo, which is the national sport I went over in another video, but that is one of the pros of Bogota because it's the main place to do that in Colombia. You also have beautiful mountains nearby. There's 2 towns in specific that are just outside of it, about 45 minutes to an hour, that are really interesting and remote, like mountainside towns that I think are worth checking out. And it's Zipaquirá, which has the underground salt cathedral, which is a must do in Colombia. It's an underground cathedral that was built while the miners were digging for salt. It's huge and absolutely mind-blowing. So Zipaquirá and Guatavita. Guatavita is a smaller city right by the lake. You can do some glamping. You're really out in nature, and it's really tranquilo. Like, it's really tranquil, and you are still only 45 minutes out of the city. Plus, the architecture there and food and people are just gorgeous and give this positive energy. And if I have to say it, my favorite street food in Colombia was in Bogota. I mean, don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger. I would say the major con of Bogota is it is the biggest city there. It is a top 5 most populated city in all of South America. And if that's not what you're looking for, then you might want to skip it yourself. The next spot is Salento. Salento is gorgeous. Salento is the major, I won't say the major, but it's the biggest tourist city within the coffee region. There are some bigger cities around it, but this is where you really get plugged into going out into the tallest palm trees in the country or going out into the coffee fields in the region. And it's so pretty and small, town vibe-ish, and is a really good hub spot. I would put this atop your top 3 cities if you're going to Colombia because it's so unique, and the palm trees themselves are magnificent. I don't know how else to say it. It's a quiet place. You can be in nature, but also be in like this small town, stay in a hostel where like they have these big dogs and everything just feels much more family-like. Plus, you can get off the beaten path. And if you check out my map that I have set up for Colombia, it has a lot of recommendations in this area, especially to get you off the beaten path of tourism, like where the tallest trees are out there. You can go to this really touristy spot, or you can go to another spot that's on my map called La Carbonera. and you can't even find the roads there. Like if you try to type it in and put the location in and ask it to take you there, it won't know what roads to take. Like we're talking off the beaten path from experience. I'll put a link up to the video that we did when we went out there, and you can see what I'm talking about.
I see palm trees. We must be close.
Now, the last city on this list is the city that I think you can skip, and it's Cartagena. I honestly just wasn't that impressed there. It's really hot, it's muggy, the beaches aren't great, there's street food, but again, it wasn't my favorite. The architecture there is gorgeous. There's some really beautiful buildings, and around the major touristy areas, like the old historic district, is gorgeous. And I think it might be worth staying a night or two if you're flying in to go to some of the other beach towns, if that's why you're going to the coast. Or if you're a photographer and you like to shoot architecture, or if you just want to visit and walk around and see the buildings, that is worth it for a day or two. But I wouldn't stay any longer than that. It's also the most expensive city, at least I found in my travels, in all of Colombia. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I acknowledge that there are so many other cities in Colombia. And the point of this video isn't to tell you that I've been all over the country and I know everything about Colombia. It's just to give you a decently traveled insight to the major cities in this country. And if you want some more real legit insider information while you're on the ground traveling, check out my Google Maps that I was talking about earlier. It does have 170 saved locations from all over the country with personal feedback from myself on every single one directly in the notes, and it's really easy to use. You can use it on the go on your phone in Google Maps, and it's the closest thing that I can give you to traveling directly with me. Well, that's it. I'm Ryan Fila. I hope you go out and live your limit and really try to change your perspective on your trip out to Colombia. Much love. Peace.